Uh, Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're seeing this, ladies and gentlemen. Man, glad to definitely be here. For those of you who tuned in last week for episode one, The Greatness Within, we're glad to have you back. Tonight's topic is self awareness or awareness in self. And, ladies and gentlemen, all right, Mr. Irving might pop in on this one. But right now, we have a special treat for you. I mean, you guys who tuned in last week, you guys already know Mr. Mark Anthony Thompson over there. And that gentleman right here is just world class, does not describe the mindset this man has. And if you don't know about the secrets of the world class, shame on you. You keep tuning in, we might let you in on a little something. But this man right here does not abide by laws of nature, laws of education, laws of government, laws of the galaxy. This man is on a tier of his own, unreachable to pretty much everybody, everything else. This place that he resides in is also what he goes by, and that is the top tier. What's up, sir?
What's up? That shit was kind of hot though. I might do my Bobby Schmurder dance over here.
Nice. And
Yo, what it do, everybody? Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Glad to be here. I'm actually finally meeting Tilly over here for the first time, so I'm kind of more hype about that. Puppy just came up in here. She's ready to chill out, and we live. We ready to get it. You know,
definitely,
our topic, man, is self-awareness or awareness in self. And I can sit here and talk a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? I can drop y'all little tips, but I kind of want to see kind of an open-ended discussion of what you guys think about open-ended awareness and what's the difference kind of between before we tap into sharing them what self-awareness is, or what's the difference between self-awareness and awareness in self. I kind of want to see what your two different perspectives are on the difference between the two. Are they the same thing, or are they two separate things? Is awareness and self-awareness two separate things? I kind of want to
hmm,
ask you guys that. What is there a difference between you two?
that's a good question, and I'm gonna answer that real quick. I'm about to introduce her since we're about to get right into you know, since we're about to get into it. Ooh wee. Ladies and gentlemen, special treat for you guys tonight. You guys keep tuning in, and one of these times we'll have where you can see the world famous, the world class Kimberly Tilly. This lady right here,
Mm.
all right. Trust, she's on with us live right now, even though you can't see everything that's going on in her world. But she is just so exclusive that you're not always allowed to see what's going on. This lady is completely, completely, completely in a zone of her own. And if you don't know about the Kimberly Tilly, you can't say that you are actually plugged in or even living life if you don't know who this living legend is. Um, now, uh, you know, I'll let her give a couple words, and then I'll come back and I'll share, my thoughts on Mark's question.
Whoa. How do I? Yeah, welcome to my world. My picture, that's all you can see tonight, guys. Sorry. I was invited on unexpectedly, so yeah, I'm in a secret location that I can't disclose at this moment. So, yeah, what's happening, everybody out there in internet land? I'm so thrilled to be on here with Mr. Mark Anthony and Terrance tonight. Yeah, I'm really thrilled to be a part of this discussion and to see what these guys have to say. So yeah, let's go. Let's go in.
Let's
I'm
dive
Definitely,
ready.
in.
definitely. And real quick about me, a lot of you guys have seen me around social media. If you see me on Instagram, I'm not on Instagram often, but I do not have an Instagram bot. They do not call me the social media hype man for no reason. I am like a machine on social media. All right. All right, I'll get after it. All right, if you're able to connect with me, which anybody has opportunity to, you might get a blessing somewhere on social media from me. I think I'm averaging about 1,500 posts I'm able to visit in a 30-minute time span. The other day I woke up, I had 238 messages, and what most people don't know, um, my secret weapon is this next level pup that you saw when we took it live. I mean, it's right here. This is absolute world class German Shepherd right here. Like, man, she is really, if you ever seen Ninja Turtles, you seen Master Splinter. Is this was like Yoda's third cousin in the body of a different animal. And this is Master Splinter's second cousin over here. I'm trying to tell you guys, my secret weapon. The shades. I'll address that again in case some of you guys don't know. All right, that it's part of the branding right here. It's part of branding. And if you want to know what my eyes look like, then you need to connect with me and find out what it takes. Because if you're not branded, I'm sorry. You see the branding, that's all you get. Um, Now, in terms of Mr. Anthony's question, self-awareness or awareness in self, what are my thoughts on those? And are they the same thing? So there's multiple ways you can take that, because you can say yes, but you're really starting to limit yourself, because one of those things that separate the haves from have-nots are the haves understand more distinctions. And so if you've ever met somebody like, oh, they're a really snobby person because they have money and they're using words that people don't understand. No, it's not that people don't understand them. They understand it. That's why they're using the word. You just don't understand. So what that is that is a barrier. And because you lack understanding or comprehension or placement for that word, then you've created a barrier which separates you from them. And if everybody in their circle has multiples in their bank account of what you have, and you cannot communicate with them, there's probably a reason why you're not in their circle. And everybody in their circle has multiples of the money you have. There might be a reason why you don't have multiples of the money that you have. And those distinctions, all right, those distinctions. See, each word has a finite value and meaning to it. All right, finite meaning and value to it. So when they use these words, that might be the finite explanation for exactly what's going on. You could say, well, why didn't you just say this? Well, because that implies something different. And so the difference between self-awareness and awareness in self, it comes down to distinctions. And part of our goals is to be able to expand your mind and to help you to be able to have more distinctions in life and to have more awareness. So self-awareness, right? See, for me, just imagine its vision. If you had, those blinders they give the racehorses, and you don't have peripheral vision, you can only see what's in front of you, right? And so you don't know what's going on the side. But as you start to gain more self-awareness, you start to take those blinders back and pull them back until they're gone, and now you have peripherals. And you can work and do exercises to expand your peripheral vision, which means you can take in more of the world that's around yourself. You see what I'm saying? And as you being able, not only just in the world around yourself, but just you being a more aware person about anything or everything. That's where I want to, my 2 cents on self-awareness. Awareness and self, well, what's going on with social media hype, man? Because a lot of times, people find themselves in adverse emotions. They find themselves giving adverse reactions. They come back later, well, I apologize, this was going on, that was going on, or whatnot. It's like, well, the more self-aware I am, the more I know what's going on with me, the less I have those situations pop up. just an example. So it's like, man, I apologize. I was just tired then. Well, if I'm fully aware of myself and I know I'm getting tired, I know it starts to happen, I should take myself to bed and not make excuses. If I'm hungry or if I'm starting to get hungry, I need to eat. If I'm angry about something, I need to be able to problem solve and stop it immediately. Different things like that. And then also, each person has power and value that they bring, and being able to understand that power and value within myself. Um, that for me, that's awareness and self. And I'll pass the mic over to the world famous Miss Kimberly Tilly, and let her give her little input. And or not little input. Her This is about to be mind blowing, probably. Um, Go
Hmm.
ahead.
I'm excited.
Self-awareness. Whoa, let's see. And awareness of self. Hmm. You know, a lot of, especially, I won't say it's different being a man or a woman, because we all have hormones, we all have different things going on in our lives, and we're in social media all the time. So we have tendencies to, I guess, kind of put on a different face, a different persona. And I get that a lot when I meet people or if I talk to people online. They're like, is that really you on YouTube? And I say, yeah, it's really me. Because when I first started, I got a lot of flack. They were like, you know what? Why do you get dressed up? Why do you put on your makeup? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Just, be natural. And I said, but that is me being natural. That is how I'm comfortable. And if I do it the other way so that other people are comfortable, it's going to make me uncomfortable. And then I'm going to be a fake. So
Right.
I'd rather do me,
Mm.
be me, and that's what I encourage everybody to do, because they're always asking me for advice on what they should do, how they should act. I just say, you know what? Be you, because not everybody is going to be attracted to you or drawn to you, but there will be people out there that relate to your story. Not everybody's going to relate to my story, and I don't expect that to happen. Not everybody's going to like me. So what I try to do, or what I do when I bring new people into my business, is first make them emotionally aware of what this business is about. And it is an emotional roller coaster because you do get a lot of rejection. And there's a lot of emotional things that happen. People take a lot of things out of context. And I think if you make your teams aware, your people aware, your business partners aware of the emotional part of the business, you've won like 90% of the battle, because
Mm.
it takes some tough skin, real thick skin to stay in this business, because there's a lot of haters. There's a lot of people that are there to jump on the bandwagon when the going's great, but then it's like, what can I compare it to? It's like a rock star or an athlete. They love you when everything is up, but when you're down, they love to kick you when you're down. There's just something about negativity that people are drawn to. And for me, especially on social media, I have learned to block those people out of my life, because it does impact you. It does affect you. And you may not think it does, but it does. When you're looking at things, you just become desensitized. And I think as human beings, that's what we need to be aware of, is that how situations, how things are affecting us. And I focus on the emotional part of it mostly, and just be myself. And that's my take on it. I mean, I'm sure I'll have more to add in there as it pops into my head, but be emotionally ready. And if you want to grow a huge team, start out with that in the beginning. Make sure they are emotionally aware of what this business is all about. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I do. I like that a lot, especially the emotional part. And it does take a lot of mental toughness to not even just this business, but to pursue anything in life. You could easily give up anytime, no matter what it is. There's always going to be haters, whether it's your family, whether it's yourself. You can hate on yourself, even your mind. You're different from your mind. There's so many times where I myself have looked in the mirror, and in myself, I know I'm a confident person, but I may look in the mirror, but in my mind will tell me, Mark, you look like shit today. I'm just sitting there looking like, who are you talking to? Like, it's not even me, it's my mind. Like, your mind, they always say, plays tricks on you, and it sure as hell can. So it's not even just you, or it's not even just. I mean, it's just not the other people outside influences. It could also be your mind playing tricks on you as well. So you have to have this type of mental toughness, this emotional feeling that to desensitize yourself to outside influences or outside external influences, and be self-awareness of your own feelings, because your feelings are kind of like your body's natural GPS. It tells you where to go, and even if you do take a right turn, it will redirect you. It won't just leave you and say, oh, well, watch out for a cliff if there is one. It will redirect you back onto the right path. And that's exactly, I can correlate with a lot what you're saying by starting out with the right mindset, the right awareness of emotion, starting out in the very, very beginning, because a lot of people, they think this is going to be, for some people who aren't properly educated to do their research, they think start a home business, they see some money pictures and they join, and they have the improper expectations, and then they do come to some trials and tribulations, or they do come to those obstacles in their road, which is going to happen. It's supposed to. That's what life is. It happens no matter what you do. It's called growth. And some people get a flat tire and they stop right there when they hit that pothole in that road. And some people pull over to the road and say, "Well, shit, I got a spare tire in the back. Let's do this." And they keep going, and they keep going about their business like it's nothing. But it's all about that, being self-aware of who you are, and the awareness of self. Awareness of self. I'm not too sure about awareness of self. Could be a whole nother different level of thing. Self-awareness is kind of being aware of the things that surround you, and in your atmosphere and life. But both of y'all hit some crazy points there. I'm sure y'all can come up with some dope stories and references of each of some of the trials and tribulations or challenges when it comes to self-awareness with outside influences, and how it affects you personally, or inside influences that may affect somebody personally, and just self-awareness alone, let alone awareness of self. The differences between those two. I don't know if you guys popped up any ideas. I saw Terrance, you just unmuted your mic, so maybe you got something to say.
Man, dude, that boy, that flat tire, woo, man, that right there should resonate with all kind of people. We can just cut this right now and just put that right there on repeat for an hour and call that the whole episode. Man, that was just profound in so many ways. Like, I'm saying it early. I'm gonna be watching this one on repeat. Man, and it was funny because Kimberly was talking about somebody and saw it on a YouTube video. Asked, "Is that really her?" And multiple people. And I was out tonight. Somebody was like, "Yo, so I saw your YouTube video." And I'm like, "Man, how'd you see it? I don't even know." It's like, "You've never even on YouTube." I was like, "I know. I was on this one day, and they're like, yeah, I was watching most of it, and I just had to keep playing your part over and over, and said, man, forget, everybody else and what they had going on, and so it's just great that the topic tonight, self-awareness or awareness of self, because multiple people have asked, well, how does that happen, Terrance? How is that possible? Um, that you hop on a hangout, you get invited onto a hangout, and you have the part that people want to watch over and over again. Well, because I get into values and beliefs and all that, but that's different topics. Just staying on topic, that self awareness. Who are the people around me? What's the gravity of the situation and all that? What's going on with me? What's going on in my world? What's going on with the people in my circle that's not live on there with me? What's going on with them? And being true, to myself and those I value in life, um, and that self awareness. The, being true to myself, knowing what's in me, the power that's in me, and man, there's just so many different ways I could go with this right now. But back with that first, you just triggered a a blast from the past for me. Oh my gosh! So you know, you can get a flat tire and you can flatten the other three tires,
Mm-hmm.
which is what a lot of people do. Not literally, but figuratively speaking.
All right.
They get one flat tire and they just slash the other three. They forget it. Forget it. Or you get that one flat tire, you can pull out a spare tire. I swear to goodness, it's happened to me. All right. I didn't have a flat tire. I had two tires go flat. Right. They're both, man, it was crazy. We wound up having to take all four tires off to move everything around. I had to borrow somebody else's spare. I said, man, we are not stopping the bus. We're not stopping the bus. This shall not derail us.
That's
Busted two jacks and still made it happen. Still made it happen. It was crazy. It was crazy. So by the time, like for the last, this was just crazy. One jack was all we had left. One jack, four tires to move around, and got that bad boy done in under 15 minutes.
what? NASCAR pit stop.
you know, we were going. We were going, man. And why? Well, once that self kicked in, I was aware of my surroundings, you know, and knowing that this is not the end of my journey. Knowing that I'm a solution oriented person. Either that or that means I have no control over my life.
Mm.
That means I never get a chance to make choices. It means I never get to make decisions. That means my actions are not mine. And I refuse to be that person. And so it just came. It just came. With that awareness and self, the best way, not the best way, probably the simplest way based on the different distinctions that people have and so many different ways I can go with this is for awareness and self. I'm gonna use a term people might have heard before, and this term is called knowledge. Right? Knowledge. They say knowledge is power. That's not true. Applied knowledge is power. Knowledge that you can transmute, that's power. You see, there's a guy who can't sing to save his life, and he
Mm.
sold 1 million records. He was on American Idol. If this man runs out of money, he could call news media and say, "Hey, I have an opinion to give about a popular topic," and I guarantee you, he gets on the air. Why? Because no matter what happens, people knows he's going to have viewers, right? No matter what, man can't sing to
Talking about
save
the
his
she
life.
bang dude.
Yeah, but he's always
She
going to have,
bang. Hey.
right? So here's the thing: the most profound thought you ever had, if it happened in the shower, the greatest song you ever sang, if it happened in the shower, just the greatest thing you
Mm.
ever did in your life, you had less viewers than he had, which means that She Bangs was more powerful than the most powerful moment of your entire life. Think about that.
Wow.
If you can't share it, if you can't use it, if you can't apply it, it doesn't mean anything, right? But here's the thing: if you never learned to look both ways before you cross the street, that might lead you into some problems in life, and you might not have a very long life. But once you learn that and you start to apply it, that is awareness in yourself. So every time you approach a street, your self awareness kicks in, right? So you know not to just step into the street, but as you get ready to cross that street, the awareness in yourself, that knowledge that you have, allows you to actually turn your head and start to take action because you understand that your life means something. You're aware that of your desire to breathe, your desire, your desire to continue, your desire to take that next step. And so that awareness in self, that awareness that, hey, I want to take this next step. I want to have that next breath unimpeded. I don't want to have, crushed ribs, a broken back, a broken neck, or anything like that. That allows you to take those necessary actions. And so the more I learn and I learn to apply, especially if I learn to teach, then the more aware of myself I become because now these are tools that I can recognize within me so I can use. And my value starts to increase. And as I'm aware of my value increasing, I understand that there's more I can do. I have more options, more decisions that can be made. There's more directions I can go with things, more people I can help. I start to become more aware of the things I can do, which starts to influence my dreams and my desires and my wants and my beliefs and my passion and my drive and my ambition. Those are all things that are within my own unique makeup, right? And it's what drives me is not my physical body, is never walks in the door, whether that's literally or figuratively speaking in my life, right? Those are things that can't be confined by my body, you know? Those are things that fuel my mind. But when I become aware of the value, the desires, and the capacity I have to create a lasting impact, my self-awareness goes up the more I recognize that and I can pull into that and I can start to apply that. But that's what I've got. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you, Mr. Irving will be checking in with us. And, whoo, man, I almost wanted to start a brand new session just to let him go because this man is powerful. This man right here with this mind, this dude mentally moves mountains and masses that we like to call planets, solar systems, and galaxies. This man right here is in a level of his own, all right? This man has no problem standing up to those who believe they're gods because behind him he has a team, and we like to call his team the Titan Squad. So I'm going to pass it over to the founder himself of the Titan Squad, Mr. I'm going to remake the galaxy you live in just because I felt like it. Mr. Irving, what's up, sir?
Oh my goodness. Oh my freaking goodness. That was probably the craziest introduction of life. Good God, bro. I feel good. I feel good. Now I officially feel like the Titan. So yeah, awareness. I believe we're talking about awareness first and foremost. How's everybody doing? It it still feels like the beginning of the weekend. And we probably gonna have y'all charged up like it is. So we talking about awareness, self-awareness, awareness of self. The funny thing is when you actually start to have a certain level of self-awareness, then most people actually start to see it too. Because what it is that when you reach that level, when you actually start to have a better understanding of who you are, then you have an understanding of what society won't won't put you in a certain box. Like there's no box for you to be put in now. There's
Mm.
nothing for the rest of the world to classify you as other than what it is that you are. And then when you actually have that understanding, when you start putting yourself, classifying yourself as something that you are rather than something someone else expects you to be, then what you can provide the rest of the world is something that everybody else wants to take a part of. And that's crazy. Because when you have a better understanding of who you are, then people want to understand who you are, but then they're starting to realize who it is that they can become because you realize who you are. That's
Mm.
massive.
That's levels. Yeah.
That's really massive,
That's a
right?
breakthrough for some people.
You know what I'm saying? It is.
Some people just
And
made a breakthrough in their life listening to it.
and the funny, one of the funniest, one of the okay, I'm not gonna say funniest things. One of the craziest things is people are so wrapped up in what other people think of them. That's crazy.
I'm a victim.
Yeah, everybody is. I think every single person is a victim of that at
Bro,
certain
I
times.
just died and reincarnated and died again, man. You're killing it right now.
You see what I'm saying? Like people are so wrapped up in what others believe of them. You know what I'm saying? And then they start to acknowledge themselves on other people's beliefs,
On other people's standards.
Hmm.
other
That was me
people's
in high school. I
standards.
can tell you straight up.
You see what I'm saying? So when people start to acknowledge themselves as the sun above the storm clouds, I think we said this before.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to embrace an attitude of the sun, and I said this earlier. I said this before, and Mark, the top tier killer, he understands where it is. I'm gonna go with this. The sun shall always reign above storm clouds. I want you to understand. Think about that for a second. The sun
Wait.
shall always reign above storm clouds, meaning that when you start to acknowledge yourself as the sun, it does not matter what your situation is or what other people are actually going to put in your way because you are above it. Point blank, period.
Mm.
That's right there. That's the highest self-awareness you could ever have.
That's a hallelujah moment.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's basically you getting to the point where no matter what the forecast,
Mm.
you're always sunny. Period. No matter what the forecast, you're always sunny. When you start to realize the potential that you have, when you start to acknowledge who you are, when you start to become aware of your potential and everything else that follows along with that, your passion, your vision, when your vision matches that and then your attitude matches that, then all of a sudden you begin to shine like the sun. That means that you are aware you have that amount of power. And no matter what the situation is, you are above it.
Mm.
And then other people are always going to want to get a little piece of that shine. The crazy thing about this is I need people to understand this. And I'm going to say it again. When you understand your capabilities, you understand who you are, and you understand your level of shine. When you understand that you have like that potential of the sun, and you become that. The sun doesn't revolve around the earth. The earth revolves around the sun. When you
Right.
understand who you are,
Yeah, the
you
sun.
will not project yourself around other people's thoughts. Other people are going to start to acknowledge yours. And when you have that attitude, they're going to start to circulate around that. They're going to gravitate around that. When you become self-aware of your potential, other people around you are going to have the same understanding.
You're gonna build your own solar system.
as you heard it, you will begin to build your own solar system. And when you start to surround yourself around other suns,
We create a galaxy. Oh, levels to this. I'm telling y'all. Don't let this go over your head. If it takes 5 times to watch this video, it's about to get real. Some people are having breakthroughs.
It's true, and it made me think back to when my son was born, because we are not aware or self-aware until 18 to 24 months of age. We don't realize as babies that we are separate from others or from our surroundings or from the environment. And it's not until, around 18 months old that you start to realize that you're an individual, that you're not a part of the environment and other individuals. But yet some people get stuck in that. And I always think back to the quote, "I think, therefore I am."
Mm,
Right?
I like where this is
And
going.
Yeah.
and we don't realize that as babies at 18 months old. And then we start on a journey through our lives of thinking and self-awareness. And like Mark said, when he was in high school, he was surrounded by people that influenced his self-awareness or made him think that he was or had to be a certain type of person. And that's where education and reading and self-development and self-awareness comes into play. And like Dee said, I mean, when people see that shine, that power that emanates from you, they're going to want to feel that as well. They're going to want to touch you, rub up against you just to get that magic. And that's what self-awareness is to me, is that knowing of what I am capable of. And, sometimes it takes going through a lot of struggles in life to get to that. Sometimes people have it so easy and they don't really know what life is all about. So most of the people that you see that are successful have had really tough pasts. Like if you look at Oprah Winfrey, at Anthony Robbins, you look at their past and what they went through as kids, it's it's unimaginable for most people, but yet look where they are today. It's because they made a choice in their life. They became self-aware of what their capabilities were, and it's untapped. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's like she said, there's not one person, there's not one successful person. There's not one person that has actually made a mark in this world that did not have to come to the understanding that in their individuality is what would make the difference. Every single person had to go through something to come to that, to get to that point of understanding that they had to separate themselves from the pack to understand them as an individual could change the landscape of history, of society, of the world. And
Sure.
the funny thing is, not only that, but even when they surround themselves with people that have like minds, think like that, have had to do the same thing, they're still one in a million.
So true.
So
I said, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, basically just summing up what everybody here has already said. You have to be aware of who you are and what it is that you can do before you make the attempt to do what it is that you're destined to do.
Right.
I mean, you can hang around a certain group of people, you can have a certain way of thinking that is socially acceptable, but most people that do things that stand out in a crowd and change society were never socially acceptable. Their methods, their thoughts, their ways of doing certain things was never socially acceptable. So it's like, like I keep saying, like that reference to the sun. It's like when you get to that point where you realize that every single person around you is going to need shades, then those are the people that are going to start to want to know how it is they can get to that point where they can take theirs off.
Right.
Definitely, man. Definitely, man.
So
And part of what comes along with that for me is man, Les Brown says, talking about self-talk, he said, some days the only good thing you're gonna hear about you is what you have to say about you.
Ooh.
You
Hold on. Say that one time. I have
know?
to write this one down.
Some days, some days the only good thing you're gonna hear about you is what you have to say about you.
And that's Les
And so when
Brown.
I started to understand the value I bring, I need to not only do I need to have that awareness because that can last for a couple seconds. I can go see and get off a conference call. I can watch a video, a hangout. I could be, I could throw this outfit on and be the perfect number of hours between meals, and somebody's like, "Dang, like I see you rocking it," and I feel all real good and everything. And for the next 30 minutes, I'm on cloud nine, and then you never know, it can start sprinkling. And man, for the old school players, you got the suede on. It starts sprinkling, it just messes your day up. And if you're not, when you have those great moments, if you're not reinforcing those thoughts and beliefs with words to self, you might start to put yourself at the bottom of the barrel,
Right.
and that's no good.
mhm.
No, and in a way, man, because man, Tilly, she said Oprah. And Oprah said when she was a little girl in the church, they told her she could talk. And ever since then, she was like, "Yeah, I can talk. I'm a talker." So she was been telling herself, talking to herself, telling herself she's a talker, and became the greatest talk show host to ever live. But the funny thing is, if she talked herself into being a talk show host, but her primary function as a talk show host is to listen.
Mm.
Think about that. So she talked herself into being the world's greatest person known for speaking ever, and the stats don't lie. More people tune in to Oprah than your favorite speaker's favorite speaker.
Right.
Think about that one. And her primary function is to listen, but that self-talk, that awareness in herself that she could be the world's greatest talker, got her to that platform so she could start to listen. But the funny thing is that she didn't start to listen when she got there. See, the world's greatest talker said, I have 2 ears and 1 mouth. I should use them accordingly. So I'm gonna let Mark hop in here.
Wow, that's levels. And I leveled up off of that, man. I swear to God. And like y'all was talking about, it's who you kind of surround yourself, stepping away from society's norms almost, and of what society expects from maybe you, and becoming comfortable with yourself and your own image and not what other people want you to think. And just being here right now, me being right here right now for myself is doing that. I know there's, especially in the profession that we all have a commonality between, is everybody's always trying to do some type of sales training, marketing training, or mindset. But this isn't even just mindset. This is life training, is what I think about. This is, life conditioning. The things that we're talking about is we're talking about self. Yeah, you're talking about mindset, but it's really conditioning for yourself, where I feel like I'm stepping out of the norm of what everybody else in our profession really does. They don't really sit here and just talk about not ourselves, but just about life. They talk about business and about blah blah blah. But these past week or so, I've shared a lot of these times with these guys right here, D, Terrance, where I've been learning a lot about life, not just about life, but life in myself. I've spent less focus on everything else, and been enlightening myself and leveling and leveling, leveling, and stepping away from the person who I used to try to be because I wanted to be accepted by everybody. I wanted everybody to like me. I wanted everybody to know who I was, and I wanted to know everybody. And it became to the point where, not that I was being fake, but I was being fake because I wasn't being true to myself. I was being somebody else that D would like. I was being somebody else that I thought Terrance would like. But when I started to be somebody that I not only liked, but somebody that I loved, I started to surround myself around people who also loved who I was, and was able to really fall deep into myself and who I really am, because I started to fall madly in love with who I am and not who other people wanted me to be. You know, you have to completely fall in love with yourself in order to be loved by somebody else. And it's crazy. And this goes when I was saying earlier, you know, traveling on your own path. And if your tire pops, it's all right. Your GPS system is going to hook you up. You're always going to be able to keep going. As D said, you know, you got to be the sun. The storms always pass underneath. The clouds always pass. When you're the sun, they always pass. They always go by. It doesn't matter. If you're the sun, you're still shining regardless. It doesn't matter what happens. There's always going to be a time when a storm passes. The grass is never greener on the other side, no matter what, contrary to belief, what people tell you, because they don't have your best interest in you. Nobody else can have your best interest in you because they're not you. They don't have your emotions. They don't have your feelings. Now, if you express and share your emotions with that person, they can then form an opinion. But it's just basically reverberating what you have told them, and then they're just bouncing it back to you, reinforcing your own beliefs, reinforcing your own feelings to the point where you're hearing it from somebody else's ear, and you're like, damn, now I'm hearing it from them, but they're just kind of telling it back to you. Now, if they're telling you something that you've never told them before, you know, that's why they always say the truth hurts, because you've told them the truth. They've seen the truth in you, and you know, hearing the truth from somebody else, it can be hurtful sometimes, or it can be it's powerful. I shouldn't say it hurts, but it can hurt because it's the truth. And that's where I think awareness and self comes in, apart from self-awareness. Self-awareness is the awareness that you hold with the things around you, right? So it's yourself's awareness and the things external, where awareness in self is the awareness of what's within internal. You know, we've all kind of hit really, really deep key points here that's transformed me today to another level. Probably you as well too, and y'all may have some other levels of things that, you know, could really do some levels of things too. But, you know, we've all hit key points here, and it's been pretty powerful on tying them all together like that in these two manners of who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, and why, and how you're doing it, and whether you acknowledge certain things about yourself and external circumstances or situations that you put yourself in. I always say that you are made from the same fabrics that the universe is made of. You know, you are not you without the existence of the universe, and the universe does not exist without you. For that being is that you and the universe are one, because neither can exist without each other. So you hold all the powers of the universe, and the universe holds all the powers that you have. And once you start to understand that, and really, really understand that you're really capable of anything. You know, they always say if you put your mind up to something, you can do it. When you put your soul into something, what else can you do? You know, your mind is kind of just something that, what's the word I could use for this? Translate things that your soul and your emotions tell you. It's kind of it's the decoder. It decodes messages. That's your soul, your spirit, the energies, the vibrations of your core, things that are outside this physical body. Your mind, your brain is part of your physical body, but there's a non-physical body. They always say the body's just a vessel. So when you're in your spirit, your soul, your mind, your brain is kind of what connects, is the connection between the two. It's the tool that your body has in order to decipher these codes, these messages, and the things that you're capable to do once you believe in them and you're able to conceive them, and you're able to become that star and be your own star and not worry about what other stars are, because in this universe, in this galaxy, there's unlimited stars. There's enough abundance for everybody. Everybody can be a star. You don't have to try to compete with other people. Create your own. Don't compete with what other people are doing, because you're not going to be able to do it as good as them, because you are them. Once you create your own, you think of athletes, right? Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, these athletes are all legends and the greatest of all time, but they're the greatest and legends of all time in their own context, in their own creation. They didn't try to create something new. Jimi Hendrix didn't try to be the next Beethoven. He created his own musical genius. He didn't try to compete and redo what Beethoven did, even though Beethoven's one of the greatest of all time. Jimi Hendrix as well, but he created it in his own light, in his own path, on his own yellow brick road. You see what I'm saying? Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I leveled up a little bit off of that one. Yeah, yeah. That man right there. That man right there. That's all I can do at the moment is just jiggle my finger, bro.
I mean, this is like, because, I spent a lot trying to really do my best to help to provide a little bit of insight and clarity on, self-awareness and awareness. So, do I get, I'm out of here. All right. So, basically, all right, whoo, self-awareness, all right, self-awareness. David gets to the battlefield. His self-awareness allows him to see that nobody's taking action, but the awareness in self, his belief level in himself, and him understanding that he is worth his dream. He is worth being able to have something in life. He is worth being able to be somebody. That allowed him to be the one that took action, because he accepted that he could not accept. You see, not accepting is the most powerful form of acceptance one can practice. When I know what I cannot accept, I know what actions I need to take. I know where my thoughts need to be headed. I know what actions, decisions. I understand the process, and I know I need to accept that everything that is a contradiction to what I cannot accept needs to happen yesterday. Awareness and his belief in himself allowed this man to be the one that slayed Goliath. You see, most people would not have said a slingshot's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about the slingshot. It was about the person that was shooting the sling. You see, self-awareness. You see, India was held down. India was living the life that David's people were going to be leading had he not had the awareness himself to step up and stand up against Goliath. But you see, just because you weren't at the battlefield that day doesn't mean that you have to accept that lifestyle. Because you see, David, another David, we can call it his spiritual twin brother, was born in India at a later date in time, and he wasn't there on the field of battle, captives and held down and suppressed. All right, but you see, this new age David, he still woke up that same way that the other David did, and he woke up, and his self-awareness allowed him to see what was happening for his people, and that awareness and self, understanding who he is and his belief levels. It wasn't about everything else. The actions were the least valuable part of everything that happened in that process. They were the most important thing to that process. But to the process, that was the least important thing. It started with the awareness he had in himself and the value that he saw himself and the life he felt that he was entitled to. But you see, when you get to a higher plane of this, your awareness in self isn't just about you. It's about the people that you can help and your impact that you have. You see that awareness and self, the value you bring, your personal value. If you're really valuable, then you're valuable to more than just yourself. So now it starts to become about your impact. And everybody in the history book had an impact. And if you have no impact, you never lived. How do I know? Because there are no records of existing. The current person will never. Let's get real. So this New Age David, he woke up and he went down much the same path, but instead of a slingshot, he said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." This New Age David was called Gandhi. But you see, this man in this spirit had another brother, all right, who understood the awareness of himself and his value and who he was. And when you understand who you are, then you start to find your value. When you start to find your value, you start to find your impact. And their other brother was called Dr. King. And you see, Dr. King decided he was going to stand up too. But you see, they had a sister, and she simply could not stand anymore, so she sat on the bus, and we call her Rosa Parks. But you see, before the last two came, there was another part of this family tree, all right? A much bigger part of this family tree, all right? A lot more of their brothers and sisters, all right? And they said, it's too late for you to repel the taxes. You taxed us anyway. We are no longer going to stand for this. You have no authority over us, no right to govern us. You can't tell me what actions to take. You can't make me think the way I think, and you can't take the decisions away from me, because my power lies in my ability to make decisions, and you cannot no longer take those away from me. So we are going to stand up. And if you feel you are entitled to my life, you're going to come take my life. Either way it goes, my life is no longer a tribute to you and your tiny island. And how do I know they were related to Gandhi? Because they got freedom from the same tiny island. You understand, I don't care how big, how small, I don't care what excuses you have for yourself when you look in the mirror. I want you to understand something, all right? I said last week Hitler was the greatest salesman in the world. And when people think of Hitler, they think about world conquest. See, Hitler was just trying to accomplish what one of the smallest islands on the planet already had accomplished. England controlled most of the known world. The smallest, one of these smallest islands controlled almost the entire world. Why is English the universal language of communication? People in America say they speak English, but when you go to England, they sound a whole hell of a lot different. And what I find is, this is how people often think about themselves. Because a tiny island, when you look at, if you're in space and you're looking at the Earth, you can't find England. On no picture from space are you able to say, oh, look, there's England. On no picture in space. But the territories that they governed, you can see those pretty clearly. You know, like Africa. How much of Africa? How much of Asia? Australia? The United States? Antarctica was a little bit too cold for them, but they still got people there. just think about this. And every excuse you've ever had in your life, any person, place, or thing, if your life was a planet, that person, place, or thing is England. And you don't speak English. You need to speak yourself. If you travel from city to city, or from one side of a city to another side of a city in the United States, people communicate completely different, but they still call it English. So I don't care what your cousin told you when you was 5. I don't care what your teacher told you in 2nd grade. I don't care what the store clerk told you. I don't care about that person who didn't like your religion, that person who didn't like your race. I don't care about that sexist person who is the opposite sex you are. I don't care about that. I need you to be true to you and understand who you are. And when you understand who you are, then you can start to find your value. And when you find your value, you start to be able to grasp your impact. But the thing about impact is it's always bigger than you thought it was. Your reach is always more than what you thought it was. And the number one thing standing in the way of you and your impact reaching its pinnacle is you. Get out of your own way. That's where that self-awareness comes in. What else is going on around you that's allowing you to get yourself in the way of you? And what I'm about to say right now is I guarantee your mind's about to be blown. And this is what I have to say. My one sentence. Titan Squad, you're up.
Yo, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, that one sentence was bananas, bro. But yo, that was just real. All spit real. Self-awareness comes from self-acknowledgement. The minute you actually acknowledge yourself is the minute you become aware of yourself. Some people are just allowing other people to just dictate the way that they actually think. Why? Did you hear every single thing that each one of these people actually said? You develop yourself. You can't develop yourself off of other people's off of other people controlling the way that you think. You can take notes from what other people's thoughts. You can take notes from the strategies. You can take notes from the courses that they may have walked, and the roads they may have walked, the courses they may have taken. But for it to actually resonate with you, you have to be aware, number one, of yourself, but you have to acknowledge yourself. Then you have to combine that with the awareness. Because then once you do that, then every single person that you may take a note of, when they referenced Gandhi, he referenced Martin Luther King. There was a reference to Oprah Winfrey. There was a reference to a few people. And these are monumental people. These are monumental thinkers. These are monumental individuals. But the funny thing is that they're monumental in thought, and they have monumental thinking, I should say, because they leave monumental footprints for people to follow. But that's only because they became aware of who they were and they acknowledged who they were. And then when they acknowledge who they were, other people have the right to acknowledge them. Like we say it all the time. Touch one, touch the world. Oh, I say it all the time. Touch one, touch the world. Every single one of those people that were mentioned before have touched someone in some way. On a monumental level. They have helped to change the landscape of people, of the world. They've helped to change the landscape of the world, straight up. I had to tone it down just a little bit because the fire this man Terrance spit was absolutely crazy. He had me lost for words for a second. But do you know that when you become aware of who you are, the smallest steps that you take will still be able to cover that mile when you continue to walk that way. I'm telling you, for some people, you're not gonna reach monumental heights by one flap of your wings. First of all, you have to acknowledge that you actually have wings in the first place to be able to take flight. But that's up to you. And the minute that you actually acknowledge that, then every single flap that you actually, every single time that you flap your wings, I hope you understand this. Like I said, self-awareness can actually change the world. The minute that you flap your wings, you've heard of the butterfly effect. Every single time that you flap your wings, you have basically changed the landscape. You have changed the environment in such a way to, like, one flap basically caused a hurricane in China. All right. There's you heading towards the clouds has either cleared a path, brushed, have moved those dry leaves on the street in Denmark or something. You never know. You never know the impact that you have unless you actually acknowledge the fact that you have the ability to make an impact. That's the first step. Every single person that was acknowledged on here, matter of fact, every single person that's speaking to you right now, they're going to make an impact on the world. Here's the reason why I know. Because number one, you're listening. Number two, it's sinking in for someone. Number three, the information that you're getting, letting it sink in, you're actually going to go to a mirror, or you're going to start to see yourself in a different light than what it is that you saw yourself yesterday. Number four, the minute that you actually acknowledge that is the minute you're going to tell yourself that you're good enough to achieve anything it is that you want to achieve. And the minute that you tell yourself you're able to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, other people are going to acknowledge that. Then the minute that they acknowledge that, I guarantee you 10 more people are going to acknowledge that. And it's going to continue to circulate. It's going to continue to spread. Straight up. Imagine if you had the ability to cause the same type of hysteria as the Ebola scare right now, but you're doing it in a good way. You're doing it in a way that's going to change the world for the better. Think about that. And let's take that back to Oprah Winfrey real quick. Do you know that every single time, I'm going to mention Oprah Winfrey, and that was probably one of the best. Do you know how many people, how many lives that woman has changed just from bringing them onto her stage? If she's in a book club and there is an unknown author that catches her attention with their book, they may have only given her their first copy of the book. When she brings them on stage because she liked the book, they are going to sell anywhere between 1 to 10 million books.
I have a personal testimonial for that.
Copies of books. You heard this man. The minute they get onto the show and she says, I like her book, go get it. Guess what? There's been those people have been at that very moment. The minute she says, go get their book, they have gotten up. I'm talking from when she was on the show, when they're on the show. They will get up and head over to the bookstore. Imagine what type of power that is. And it's not just for the power that she said it, but it was for the fact that she was aware of the type of her ability. She was aware of what it is. She was a speaker. She as a speaker. The fact is, it's not only for the fact that she can actually listen, but it's for the fact that when she listens, other people start to acknowledge that she can listen, and they start to admire her for that, and they acknowledge her for that. Then no matter what it is that she say, they listen. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it comes from the fact that she acknowledged who she was first. She became aware of who it is of who she is. I'm telling you, people better understand when you start to recognize the capability of who you are, what your brain has, just the capabilities of your thoughts alone can actually do. Then you start to realize the power that you have. Man, it's about to get deep. I don't even want to get that daggone deep, because it's gonna miss some people. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna hand that back over to Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch for real. Mr. Top Tier himself. Go ahead, take that, bro.
Yeah,
I
that
know
is
you
true
got
about
something to say.
Oprah. It's true about Oprah, man. I had a homeboy that I grew up with, right? His name's Devin. He's a punter for some college football team now, Colorado State. And his grandfather and his mom opened up a pie shop. It used to be some small little joint. And where I'm from where like Cape Cod, which is right near where JFK grew up, John F. Kennedy, right? When his wife or sister, whatever, one of them died a few years back, maybe probably back in 2010, maybe 2011, right? She had a funeral. So who comes to town is Oprah. Why? Because it's part of JFK. They're on that top tier, hey, level of life. The elite class of people, right? So Oprah came to town, and Devin had a he's in the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization because his dad went to jail or whatever. So he had a Big Brothers. That was his big brother worked at the hotel that Oprah stayed at. Devin came up with a tight idea. Hey, why don't we put some of our pies in the hotel room just as a free gift or whatever? You know, he did it jokingly. You know, about 3 weeks later, as things started to develop, they got 3 pies into it, and they got a note from Oprah saying, "Hey, I want to get some of your pies on the show." They said, "Hold on, we can't do that yet. We can't push some type of numbers." They had to wait a year, develop a outsource. Like they had to get a company out in Colorado and Minnesota to go make their pies for them because they couldn't make pies that fast. They only made pies in their store before. As soon as they aired on Oprah, 15 minutes later, they had over 15,000 orders. The next 5 minutes, 50,000 orders. 15,000 to 50,000 orders within 5 minutes. That place has never been the same. You know what I'm saying? That's a personal, real, and that's when I was really chill with Devin. I used to chill at that restaurant all the time. It was hot. I used to get like free cinnamon buns from there all the time. That was my joint after work. Cinnamon buns. But it's real, man. That's the power of networking too. That kind of shows you exactly why we do what we do. Is the power of networking. But I mean, that's kind of it's been a little bit way off topic, but you know, it's because of Oprah. I'm gonna just swing it right back around because of Oprah's self-awareness. You know, if you ever read the book The Color Purple and how she got that role in The Color Purple, my grandmother loves that. She told me some stuff about it. It's pretty damn cool. She actually met the producer. Forget his name. It's a big name, but I can't think of the name right now. She met him years and years before. When she tried to rehearse for another role, she didn't get it because of some type of self-confidence that she lacked. I mean, we all have those little character flaws. She wrote about this in one of her books, and it took some times of being down here at her low, maybe not her lowest, but it took that self-awareness to realize that she had to overcome some things. And when she finally found, when she hit that low, when you hit that low, that is really your turning point. Because when you hit that low, you're like a ball. The only thing you do is bounce back up. Bounce back up. You're not going to sit here and just fall. I want to see you jump off a building. Your body's going to bounce. As sad as it is, but it's going to bounce. And it may bounce a few times, but it's going to later after, right? But that's the turning point when you hit rock bottom. She realized that. And that was a very, very, very big time in her life, is what she wrote about. And 3-4 years later, this producer, I forget his name. Quincy. I don't know, Quincy something. His name's or something Quincy. He's big. I just can't think of his name right now. I'm having up here, and he remembered her from 3 years ago when she was down here. He found this role and he said, "Oprah, I want you to come into this." And it was a blessing for her. It was kind of another breakthrough. She was like, "Oh my God!" But it took that self-awareness of realizing being down here wasn't in alignment with her higher self. It wasn't in alignment to where she was supposed to be. She was, it was awareness in herself and her own self-awareness that the situations that were outside of her did not match what was inside of her. She had to change vibrations. She had to change her path. She had to redirect herself. And I want to take like a little action step for everybody here today. I want you to ask yourself, you know, a lot of us are out to prove something, right? Most of the time it's to ourselves. Can I prove it to myself that I can do this? I need to prove it to myself that I can lose 10 pounds. I want to prove it to myself that I can start eating healthy. I want to prove myself that I can do this. And a lot of people are trying to prove things to other people, whether they want to prove I've done this. When it came to sports, I wanted to prove to my football coach that I could play. You know, I had a football coach that benched me in high school. I did never play in high school, but I ended up getting a D1 scholarship to a top 5 school in the country and almost went into the league until I got hurt. But that drive came from proving myself that not only I could do it, but I proved it to my dad after he laughed at me that I told him I wanted to go into the NFL. That coach that never let me play, but every time I did get the ball in the season, I scored a touchdown. I had a lot to prove to people. And I had to prove it to myself at the same time because I knew I could believe it, but I had to achieve it, right? And once I started expressing myself, I started to flow down this river, and it became really easy. You know, when I was trying to prove it, it was almost like it was never enough. Every time I tried to prove something, it was never enough. I had to keep proving it. There was always something else that stacked on top of it every single time I did it. It was like I was swimming against the current, and I always say, like, don't try to swim against the current because you'll drown. Just ride the wave. You know, you look at a tree, you plant a seed, and this tree grows, right? Then all it takes is sunlight and water. It takes the path of least resistance. It doesn't need to go to the gym. It doesn't need to read all types of books. It just takes the path of least resistance, and this tree grows hundreds of feet, and it stays alive for hundreds of years, some very, very long. But it takes the path of least resistance. And some of the times, you guys are putting walls in front of yourself because you're not self-aware of where you truly want to go and where you truly want to be, and you're confusing yourselves. So I want y'all to take a little action step. And first, you know, you want to ask yourself, you know, are you out here to prove yourself, or are you out here to express yourself? Right? And when you do that, what are you trying to prove and what are you trying to express? And that may help give you some direction that you may have been lacking. It may spark something for you that will create a breakthrough. Not a huge breakthrough, but maybe there is a little obstacle and you break through this obstacle that has been stopping you. That's a breakthrough. It doesn't have to be the biggest breakthrough, but it is a breakthrough. Get you past that obstacle, get you past through that wall. Try that today. You know, test that out this week, you know, and reflect back, you know, at the end of the week and see what type of progress you've made, see what type of changes you've had maybe in your mindset, the things you're doing, things you're reading, and see what happens, see what type of changes happen. Maybe it's attitude, maybe it's things that you do, maybe you do end up losing the first 2 pounds of that 10 pounds you've been trying to lose. Maybe you do recruit those few people into your business and finally get that little piece of residual income that you've been wanting to make. You know, because you've been out here trying to prove yourself to everybody else, competing with everybody else when the world class creates and expresses themselves. So that's a little something I want y'all to try that I tried this week. That I said earlier that this week has been a really big separation from what I've been doing compared to everything else and finding myself and enlightening myself. This is what I've been doing this week, and this is kind of what I'm sharing through my own testimonial that I would recommend, that I found great value in myself. You know, I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything. We kind of been sitting here for about an hour and a half or so, but there's been a lot going on. I want to watch this probably a few more times and really dissect this and go back over, because some of the stuff is going through over my head. So I know every time I listen to this, I'm going to pick up something new and keep putting puzzle pieces together to paint my own picture from the things that we were talking about here. And I'll challenge some of you guys who are, if you're watching this and you watched this last week, next week you better have your ass on this thing instead of just watching, and get on. You know, you come to the point where you've been leveled up where you can level us up. We want that. I know Tilly's been quiet over there. She's probably soaking it all in as she goes.
Yeah, I want to add to that and challenge people to set a goal. And not only set the goal, but write it down on a piece of paper and divide the paper in half with a line. On one side, have closer, and the other side have further. So as you're going through your day and you're trying to get to that goal and you're taking actions in your life that day and you're making decisions, when you, just before you make that decision, look at the goal and say, is that bringing me closer or further to my goal? And
Breakthrough for me there.
that will, it was a big breakthrough for me, because it's one thing to think it, but when you write it on a piece of paper and you're making decisions, like say in the evening, you could do something for your marketing, for your business, or you could sit down and watch a movie. You think to yourself, okay, by me watching this movie, am I getting closer to my goals in my business? Or am I getting further away to my goal in my business? And see where that gets you at the end of the week. Give it a try for 1 week and write that goal down. And at the end of the week, see if you've become closer to that goal or further away from the goal, depending on the decisions that you make on a daily basis, on a minute-by-minute basis. Because your mind is always thinking, you're always having to make decisions. So before you make that decision, pull out the paper, look at it, and think about what you're doing before you do it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add in there. Didn't want to take up too much time. And as we were talking too about making choices and making changes in the world, I thought about Michael Jackson and the song Man in the Mirror. And he said, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself, then make a change.
Ooh.
And he was talking about looking at the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror. So if you want to be that change, be it. Look at yourself in the mirror and you make that change.
Gave me butterflies.
She took it to Michael Jackson. Now you know for a fact when you take it to Mike, it's over.
Time to moonwalk up out of here.
Like straight up. So I wish, I swear on everything, I wish I had a different type of hat on right now.
That's what it made me think of when you guys were talking about making changes.
I need a sparkling glove off of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hot. That was hot. That was hot.
Oh, that's it.
That was
So
hot.
yeah, that's my thoughts on taking in what you guys had to say tonight. I'm just blown away. So many takeaways. Wow.
Yeah.
There are no coincidences, guys. No
challenge.
coincidences.
Definitely. Man, it's definitely been a pleasure having all you guys on. Time for the walk-off homers.
Yeah, send this link my way too. I wanna get this out there a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go first for the walk off. Y'all already heard everything. Absolutely crazy. These three inspirational spirits that are on the call along with me are sure to change the world, and just if they don't make you acknowledge the fact that you need to take a look at yourself and be aware of who you are, then I don't know who else is going to do it. But once again, this is D. Irving, aka Sir BGS, with the Titan Squad, also affiliated with the Inspired Minds. Once again, saying, touch one, touch the world, and I approve this daggone message.
You're up
That
for
was
your
everything.
closing thoughts,
I
Miss
appreciate
Philly?
y'all.
Were you talking to me, Terrance? Sorry.
Closing thoughts.
No, I just want people to take action.
There we
Take
go.
action. That's it. Write your goal down. Look in that mirror and start making those changes. Take
Voice is
action, guys.
powerful. I wish and
tier.
I hope everybody leveled up off this little haul. If y'all watched this whole entire thing, wow. Hit me up. Shout out to you. Because y'all leveled up to so many different levels. And if, hit me up in my inbox. Mark Anthony Thompson. Find me on Facebook somewhere. If y'all were able to watch this whole thing, because I leveled up and I know you got something to teach me. I want to hear about that one. I want y'all to teach me, man. Because there's people on this call and I learn from every single time. And, you know, we did a hangout earlier real quick. And me and D didn't record it. And I was like, yeah, we need to start recording every single time our minds get together.
Bro.
And I'm glad, you know, this time around we got to record it for other people to see too. And I don't even care if other people see it, man. I want to see it again. You know, I want to go back and watch this tomorrow, probably today. I'll probably watch this right after. And I want to thank everybody for being here, man. Thank you guys for sharing your minds with me. This was amazing, man. I leveled up. I had a few breakthroughs. I know I'm gonna take Tilly's action step. That shit was real. Draw that on a piece of paper closer. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
I'll do that as soon as I get off of here.
That was up.
Thank you, everybody. And just remember, this is my little mantra right now. Y'all are made of from the same fabrics that the universe is made of. And you create the world that is around you. Top tier up.
Yeah, that is your little monster right now, man. Oh my gosh, were you guys watching this? Did you just witness what just happened? Oh my gosh, today is the day that Zeus died. All right, the Titan squad came in. The Titan squad just came in and said, "Give me that." All right, Poseidon does not have a trident. All right, it could be located in about 15 different lost and founds with about 2 pieces each one of those. All right, this man just came in and said, "Give me that." All right, and then from an undisclosed secret location, all right, Tilly just came in and told, look, they said there's a hurricane about to hit the coast. She stepped outside and said, "I don't think so," and it turned and went the other way. All right, it turned and went the other way. She said, "It's time to reverse your actions." All right, just like E.T. said, you ain't always gonna feel like hopping on the treadmill. But you just make it to the spot and you stand between the treadmill and the bike. Sometimes you start on the bike, but you finish on the treadmill. And the top tier just came in. And I'm telling you, when we started, like we just went back in time because the earth is spinning backwards now. This man just said, "No, you don't. No, you don't. You know, let's start to unwrinkle your mind. All right, let's just take you in a different direction." Then he just stopped everything and time just stood still, but your knowledge didn't. And then he set it right back in motion. He's like, man, he just told you you are made from the same fabric that the universe is. How about you think about it like this? You ever stop to think about maybe the universe is made from the same matter you are? And I say that because I want you to know.
We're supposed to tell him that, dog.
Matter. You too matter. All right? So it's your boy, Terrance A. Collins Jr., a.k.a. Mr. Inspired Mind, the social media hype man. Just here to let you know that we are on a mission to get you from where you are to exactly where you want to be, to exactly where you need to be, to exactly where you deserve to be. You don't have to do anything in life. You get to continue to live and do it. So why don't you start inherently owning each and every single one of those situations and take praise for knowing the fact it's already done. You just haven't stepped across the threshold yet. And at any point in time you're ready to step across the threshold, get up off the couch, put the Twinkies, Ho-Hos, and Kool-Aid down and start walking towards the door. All right? And I just want you to know, we cannot create your dreams.
Mm.
But when you plug into the power of this collective brain trust, what starts to happen is, what starts to happen is you get from where you are, to you get to start working on your dreams. And when you're done accomplishing your dreams, we'll be here to help you get to work on your fantasies.